Hello there everyone. In this video we're going to introduce lesson 4, which our topic is API documentation. So you've successfully built a CRUD application in Node.js that connects to MongoDB in the first 3 lessons of this course. And in this lesson you're going to learn how to document this. Now API documentation is awesome. To give you an idea of what it is, this is what I finished for the lesson 4 assignment. And so this is for my contacts project. It gives me a nice visual representation of my API project, right? Of all of my REST services, all of my routes. And so I can click on any one of these and I can see, oh, this one has no parameters that it needs. And if everything looks good, it will send back a 200. Okay. I can also hit try it out and hit execute. And there's my data. It shows exactly what was sent, the request URL, the status code that came back, and in this case the data that came back, okay, along with any headers that were there. And so really I can use this as even like a REST client, because I can go in here and I can test any one of these. I can even modify my database by like posting something new or editing one of the fields in here, and it shows exactly how you do it. I can just be like, oh yeah, let's try it out. We put in an ID, we change up some data, and we hit send, and obviously that one won't do anything because it says service unavailable, but I don't have anyone with that ID, right? Anyways, but it's really cool. The reason why I'm having you do this is because API projects always have, or at least always should have, some type of documentation. And so when you're building a backend for a website, the front-end team needs to know what to expect. They need to know what data is coming back and what they have to send as far as parameters go to be able to get data. And the backend needs to know also all of that. And they have to have a solid place to meet up. And so this is often referred to not just API documentation, but it's often referred to as an API contract. A contract between the front end and the back end with what each will provide to the other. And so this your final iteration of this contacts project is you building this. And notice this is where I actually published mine. And so if I go here and I go to my contacts URL, okay, this is my published API. And I could like put in one of these IDs and hit slash right there. Okay, so this is like my actual API project, and then I was able to integrate this API documentation here just within my project. And so anyone could access this and see everything that's in my project and everything that's being used. So that's our main focus for this week, that and just cleaning up projects and getting ready to submit them. Okay, one thing I want you to look out for is this right here. There's a grading rubric included, and so you can see, okay, here are the requirements of your project, everything that I'm looking for. Okay, and then it says you'll receive a 0 if you don't have a YouTube link. So you have to do a video demonstration of this right here will be sufficient. You have to do a video demonstration of that and then post it to YouTube, and you'll include that YouTube link in iLearn. You also have to post a GitHub link in iLearn and a Heroku link in iLearn. Okay, down here is your rubric, and so you can see 35% of your grade is dependent on your stuff from the last 2 lessons working. The get, post, put, and delete, connecting to the data to the database, everything. Okay, the database section, 25%, has a collection called contacts. Each contact has the required fields and at least 3 additional fields. Notice this is above and beyond. Okay, 90% is if you meet requirements. Okay, now the way this works, this database one is 25% of your overall grade, and so that's, if my grade was 100 points, that's 25 points worth that'll be dedicated to my database. And if I only meet like 90% of that, then I'll get like 22 or 23 points right here, right? Deployed to the web. If I end up as, some attempt was made, Heroku project created, but page fails to load, so I can see your link, but there's an error there, then you'll only get 60%, roughly 60% on that. And so whatever 60% is of 20 is like 12-ish, something like that. Okay, and so you'd only get 12 points there. And so each one of these are how you're going to be graded. in this rubric. So HTTP requests, database, deploy to the web, and your API documentation that we're going to cover. Okay, so just be aware of this page. Don't just skip over it, because this is how you're going to be graded on this project. Okay, we do talk a little bit about other options, a very little bit. There's one called Postman, one called README. There are a bunch of other ones that provide API documentation, but none of them are used nearly as much as Swagger in industry, which is why we're going to focus on Swagger. Your team assignment will be very, very helpful for you, and there is a solution that kind of goes through it. This creates a swagger.json file and the Swagger UI for a project that's given to you. So not for one of your projects, but you'll have to do that whole process with this project. Okay, and so you'll see how that whole thing works. All right, and then your personal assignment, you basically do that same thing for your own project now that you understand how that works. The only tricky part is now you also have to deploy that route to Heroku, and we should be able to access that on Heroku. And so if you watch this video, it's about 20 minutes, and half of that time is spent with me fumbling around with errors trying to get my contracts to work on Heroku, just little errors. And so if you end up with the same issue, watch that. But by the end of it, we end up able to perform all of these different requests on Heroku. Okay, and that's the end goal. All right, and that's it for this week, and that's it for this project. So don't forget to make your YouTube video. Okay, you're gonna have to post that YouTube video as well in iLearn. You don't have to make that public. When you publish a video on YouTube, you can make it private, and you can make it unlisted. Unlisted means nobody can search for it. They have to have the exact link to access it. And so if you're not comfortable with having your stuff out on YouTube for anyone to find, just publish it as unlisted, and then you can still put the link into iLearn, and everyone that has the link will be able to access it. So yeah, YouTube video, GitHub link, and Heroku site API contracts. So you'll include the route to your API contracts like this. So, okay, that's what we're looking at for this lesson. Good luck with everything, and I'll see you guys next time.